Hey, folks. On today's episode of the podcast, we have my ex-roommate and really good friend, TJ Dempsey. TJ is a very unique guy. I went to college with him and obviously lived down here with him in Arizona, but he's unique in the way where he's very open minded. He knows what he wants to do with his life. He's got this PhD thing going on, and I just love talking to him. And I think you guys will like to listen because he's very deep. He knows what he's talking about most of the time. But please take a listen. And also, we get to make a few phone calls to our good old friend, Canadian Craig, at the end. But before we get to that, we got to talk about realtor Todd Morris, who just got married on Saturday. Congrats, Todd. Todd Morris with the agency Arizona, the investor group. Coming from a construction background, Todd brings experience and knowledge about real estate. It's very real. And he talks about taking those into transactions. He's also on the Toon team. That's Toon. That, among three of them, offers exceptional knowledge of the market and negotiation strategies. You can find Todd at Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to find him on, at Todd, Todd Morris, Morris. Thanks, Todd. Also, our good friend Phil Wright with Guild Mortgage. With rates being as low as they are now, is it a great time to start investing in your future? Well, yeah, it is. And let's start by doing that with a new home or lowering the monthly payment you currently have. Reach out to Phil and his team anytime, anywhere, and get information on how to do this. Simply by Googling Phil Wright, Wright, Guild, Guild, Mortgage. And last but not least, the home base soon with our podcast, Novato Inc., where style flows. Novato's got some of the coolest sinks that you can shake a stick at. They're the best. And just go check them out. That's Novato, Novatto. And here we go with TJ Dempsey, without a doubt in my mind. One of my good friends. Enjoy this one, guys. One of the better ones.
Here come the boys. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
TJ, thanks for coming in, brother.
Absolutely.
We've been talking about this for a while. I say that to every guest, but you were the first guy because we were living together when I came up with this idea.
I was going to say, you've been talking about it for 3 years now, and it's happened, so anything I can do to support it, we're here, baby.
We're here, man. We lived together for what, 2 years?
2 years, and then you got sick of me, so you up and left.
No, you got married. No, your wife got sick of me.
Hey, I wasn't going to go into it. But
just kidding.
No, it's yeah, it was a good situation either way.
Yeah, we were living in Scottsdale. We were having a good time. It was just awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, those full 2 years though, I never got Amazoned. Have you heard about the Amazon thing?
I haven't. If it has anything to do with modern things and like social media,
dude,
or anything,
I bought these glasses on Amazon.
Oh my!
And on
what
Friday
in
night,
the world?
when after a few beers, I'm playing Call of Duty, having a few, and my buddies are coming to town this weekend. They're like, "Dude, you got to get some sunglasses." And I just broke my Oakleys, and I'm like, "All right," I go on Amazon, and I pick out these glasses, and I'm like, "These look pretty good. These look really good. These glasses look fantastic." So then I get them in the mail because it's one ship. So I get it on Saturday, and I open them up. I'm like, "Oh my god, what have you done?" What have you done with my child?
What have you done, Tom Cruise?
So I look at it, I'm like, "Hey, buddy, the gabagoo, we need something. Come here, look at these. You look like polka. Booze, girls, more booze. Come on, what do you want?"
Good Lord.
It's always something with me, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always something with you, and it usually has something to do with trying to be like Tom Cruise.
I can't believe I bought these. For everybody listening, these glasses have a gold frame, and they look like my grandma's Immaculate Degeneration glasses.
You don't want to mess with these. Those were $75 on Amazon. So good
More
deal,
like 16. But anyways,
hey, don't worry about it.
Could have went to the movies for the price of those. But
could have taken a girl to the movies for the price of those.
Speaking of girls, how's married life?
Married life has been amazing. Because
you were one of those guys that found your girl, and then you just were like, "This is it. This is the one I want."
Well, and organically, it wasn't a Tinder thing, It wasn't a friends hooked you up type of thing. It was literally organically. You probably remember the story. It was like I needed a job, showed up at a gym one day and got a job there on the spot, and showed up and she was working front desk there, and we both grew through them, got to know each other through that, and so I think that's kind of the incredible part of it, because you don't, to me, you don't see a whole lot of that. nowadays.
No, you don't.
It's but it was organic, and I think that's really the beauty of it, you know.
Yeah, no, and when you knew, you knew.
Yeah. Well, I always
So
say,
how did that work? Did you see her at the gym and you walk up and be like, "Hey, do you know where the curl bar is?" Like, yeah, how does that work?
Well, it wasn't the curl bar; it was the squat rack.
She likes the buns.
Well, okay, let's not get into that. But no, we were just kind of talking. I would just give her crap and whatever, and it was just, and she chewed my ass for using up too much equipment during group classes and stuff like that. And,
Whoa.
And no, it just kept growing because I don't know why, but I kept asking her like one deep question a day. Just for no reason. Like, I was physically attracted to her.
Really?
And I wanted to eventually date her or whatever.
Yeah.
But didn't know much about her. So I would my whole thing was, I'm just going to ask her one question a day. And a lot of times it
Get that
was
mic close to your
philosophical.
face. We want to hear everything you say.
I'll get right up in
Whoa,
here.
there we go.
But no, sometimes it was philosophical. Sometimes it was just something stupid. But I just asked her one question a day, and it just kept going and going and going. It was weird.
See, I've tried that at yoga, and girls tend to say, "Please,
Yeah,
quit
don't do
talking
that
to
at
me."
yoga.
Hey, does my down dog look okay to you? What do you think of my?
Oh no, you could have said any other yoga pose.
Not down.
You could have
down
done
dog's
any other yoga pose.
Down
what
dogs.
in the world is wrong with you?
Down dog's my favorite thing to. Well,
No,
anyways,
that honestly, like, once I started doing yoga, that was my favorite. That was my favorite pose because it like stretches out your whole posterior chain, your lower back and your calves and everything. And you take little stuff like that for granted because as a football player you don't really or as a typical
just an athlete.
Yeah, you don't really put the emphasis into it
Yeah.
that the yoga people do. And they talk about the very specifics of it and what you should be feeling and how you should be breathing while you do it, and it feels incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing loosens me up like yoga in general, and especially that pose. So
that pose is awesome. And speaking of kind of getting to the biomechanics of like the system of an athlete, you got me through college. One of the first times I met TJ was in my exercise science class, right?
yeah,
In
one
college.
of them, yeah.
And I was like, dude, you were on it though. You and Leno, Professor Leno, were just on it. You guys, hey, we got to get the hip flexor to match the quad strength, and the quad strength goes up to the upper dorsimus, and the dorsimus goes to the shoulder strain, and the shoulder strain mimics how you run. And and I was like, what? I just like to go sprint on the treadmill. And I remember we had a take home test, and we can say this now that we're out of college. We had yeah, you're still in school. We had a take home test. And I remember I looked at you, I'm like, dude, I'll buy you a case of beer, come over, let's listen to music and help me out on this. Well, help me out was just do it for me.
That's what it ended up as. I thought it was going to be a cool friend, like, bonding thing. And it just turned into me doing a damn test.
I was just like, hey, what'd you get for number 2? Okay, I got B. You got C? You got upper dorsimus? Okay,
Hey,
I'll go with C then.
Listen, I got a whole case of Coors Light and a few shots of something else out of it. So that was... it was like $50 an hour right there.
We
so
were, and then we went to Spur afterwards, and that was even better.
Yeah.
So take me back so then you and I became friends in college. Then I moved down here. You come down and visit me. We go to Bottle Blonde. We have a blast and a half. There is no alcohol involved.
Zero.
And then you moved down, and then I was like, dude, let's just get a place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was, your influence was important to me because I had a little bit of family down here. But you kind of showed me the lay of the land, so to speak. And what I was looking for in moving down here in the first place was, number one, just something different. Mm-hmm. Number two, you and I kind of grew up in a very culturally isolated environment, and that's what I want to get into. And, Scottsdale definitely doesn't have the cultural variability that you'd like if that's your goal, is to experience a different culture. But going and doing that different stuff was a completely different thing for me. I mean, and for you initially probably too, because we were used to the hometown little tiny bars and everything.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. And when you were ready to do it and go, I was like, you know what? I'll just hop on board. I'll figure it out.
Nice. I didn't know that, dude. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's just is what it was. I knew you were a good guy, and I was like, let's just let's just hop on and do this, man. I'll figure it out.
Then we lived at the apartment for 2 years, and then your life really blossomed out, and here I am still on Tinder.
Still on Tinder and the other dating websites.
No, I don't even use, to be 100% honest, I don't use dating apps. I like the Instagram DMs. I'm not going to lie to you. I like those.
Okay.
But I haven't found, excuse me, getting all choked up talking about it. I don't know. It's weird. We're in a weird system. I was talking to like some older people on the podcast, like a couple other guests we had, and I was asking the same question I asked you earlier, like where did they meet their specific loved one? And it was kind of helped my confidence to hear your story, because that doesn't happen now. Well,
and it's difficult in modern the way things are set up now. It's difficult to validate spending time, like really focused time doing that, when you constantly have other things to do, especially in the job market. And I mean, even with what you're doing, it's like there's constantly things to be doing. So it's like taking away from your professional future to take time doing that. It has to be for someone special. And how are you going to know that someone's special, after talking to them maybe one time or whatever? Yeah. So I'm not opposed to the online dating thing. I think it can be a really good thing for people.
Right.
If used properly.
Yeah, which is not happening in Scottsdale anyways.
Yeah, but
properly.
For me, it just wasn't an option. I wanted to either find it organically or not do it at all. And that sounds really maybe uppity and bigoted in certain ways. But I'm not opposed to it for anybody,
Well, yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, it is, and it doesn't matter how you find them; it's just that you found them.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I can say everything I want about finding things organically, but there's examples of couples out there who met on whatever website or through the Instagram DMs or whatever.
But you did it right, dude. I liked your proposal. You proposed to her up in Sedona, and Sedona's like the most magical place in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome because I kind of got her family involved in it as well. And we got it all on film and everything. If I had it my way, it wouldn't be on film. I'm like the anti putting everything online.
You're very old school.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can call it old school if you want, but I'm contrarian in that way, and in a billion other ways. I'm sure we'll probably touch on a few of them. But no, that was awesome. That was a moment that I won't forget.
Yeah.
The moment that she won't forget is that her nails weren't done, and she was really mad about that for the pictures of the ring and stuff. But no, it's been awesome ever since. We go back to Sedona at least a couple of times a year, and it brings back those memories.
That's awesome, man. I love that. That's a good story. And Eunice is great. I love her.
Oh yeah, she's the best, obviously. I mean, if I married her, she must be the best.
Yeah,
right?
No kidding. That's a good point. we were talking earlier about how you've kind of had my back in a lot of things, not just about this swim lessons podcast, but when I started the Divide County Classic, which is a basketball tournament that I would honestly say that you and I run, because you've helped me out as much as I can. But what were we, juniors in college? When I looked at you, I'm like, dude, I really want to run this basketball tournament. And I want to run it for my buddy, and I want to do scholarships for him, because everybody that's listening, I had a friend that passed away in high school. Wanted to start something to do a scholarship for him. And you were the first guy, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. I'm spitballing here. But you were the guy that I came to, because you had reffed basketball. And I was like, TJ's ref basketball. I wonder if he knows, he just helped me ace this test. He probably knows a lot about refereeing. So I asked you, and you're like, yeah, dude, let's do it. That sounds awesome. And that was a big, big help.
Yeah. Well, I was all in, because if it's for something like that, and especially if it's for, scholarship money for kids, whether they're athletes or not, to help them out with that. I mean, how could you not be on board with that? I would do that for $0. I mean, you and Deb won't let me do that. But
shout out Deb, my mom.
Yeah, shout out. Endless shout outs to Deb. But I mean, that's something you can get on board with no matter what phase of life you're in or what's going on in your life, because you're giving back to a community that was hurt significantly by that whole thing, and you're given to X number of kids in high school who are going to benefit from receiving that stipend. to be able to do their college thing, man.
Yeah.
And whether they go to community college with it or 4-year university or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm always on board with that.
Well, I like the idea that you and I came up with, where each team that comes to participate gets to represent a school of their choice. So then, they're not just coming up there to play basketball and win money, and they're coming up, they're representing something. They're representing a school that they could give back to. Right. So it helps them, and it kind of, sways their wives to let them come up there a little bit. Honey, I got to go help the kids and get drunk with all my friends.
It'll help out the competition a little bit too.
What do you think of Crosby, my hometown, North Dakota?
I love Crosby. I've lived in places kind of like Crosby, not in the oil belt like Crosby is, but I've lived in small towns like that, and small towns like that are amazing, and they're all over the United States. And that's, I think there's hardworking people all throughout the world, in big cities, small cities, whatever, but small town people in that small town environment is incredibly different from what we're in now.
That's what I miss. I miss it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things to miss about it. You miss the
camaraderie,
the closely connected community. Walking into a bar and knowing everybody in the bar, and then when there's somebody new in the bar, it's like, hey man, we got to buy this asshole.
Yeah. Not quite. Oh yeah, Nick told me to watch my swearing producer, Nick. Nick, what do you think? Nick. Where's your mic?
Do
you have a mic today? No, Nick and I got into an argument 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't a good one. I had a few Chardonnay. He had a few Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And we got into an argument. But Nick's. So the funny thing is, swim lessons wouldn't be able to be swim lessons without Nick Tantillo. And I happened to forget that night.
It happens.
You forgot your name.
I forgot my. Well, come on, my mom listens to this. Hey. But no, I'm just, like I said, dude. Crosby's unique because, just like with the basketball tournament, dude, the community comes together. We have that huge spaghetti feed on Saturday night. Everybody comes, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I knew you and Sage Alvarez. Shout out my good friend Sage Alvarez. When we were down in Arizona, and I looked at you two, and you had obviously driven up from Dickinson, where we went to college, to Crosby. But when I looked at you, I'm like, dude, you want to fly from Arizona to Crosby for the weekend, which is not an easy travel. We're gonna fly in Thursday. We're gonna ref Friday, Saturday, all day Sunday probably, and probably fly out Sunday night. And you said, without a doubt, I'm in.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, if it's anything you're involved in, or it's helping out the community, keeping the community involved. If it's helping out young kids get to college, I'm not going to say no to that. If it's feasible at all.
Where do you think you develop that characteristic of just helping out people and just kind of knowing when something's good, it's great? Because right now, the city we live in, there's not a lot of people that would do that.
I agree. And if you want to get into my disdain for some aspects of the city life, we'll maybe get into that eventually. But I think it comes from number one, family. Having brothers and sisters, and your parents and your grandparents who are like, if something's going on, they're into it. There's no question about it. Yeah, they're if you call it midnight and you something went wrong with your car, they're there. It's like the country song. I don't even remember what it is, but it's like you find out who your friends are.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's gonna drop everything.
There you go.
Hit the gas. Get there fast. Never stop to think what's in it for money.
Baritone. My goodness gracious.
Or it's way too
you
hard.
Let him do this
Dude,
on air? Come on, man.
Tracy Lawrence, Kenny Chesney. Who else sings that one? I don't remember, but it's a damn good song. Thanks for bringing that up.
But also, I think from playing sports.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, team sports especially. I mean, if used correctly.
Oh, it's Tim McGraw.
Oh yeah,
it's Tim McGraw.
See, this is why you shouldn't try to do impersonations of musical artists.
You're not saying I'm close to Timmy G or Timmy M?
I am saying emphatically that you are not.
You don't think I could pull a girl like Faith Hill? That's a little rude.
Yeah, well, if you stay on the DMs enough, maybe you could. But no, I think you get it from sports too, because it's like. You have to either buy in or get the hell out.
Yeah.
If you're not bought into the vision, you need to get out. And I was a guy who had trouble a lot of times buying into the vision in high school and college. So I think I realized it a lot of times better than people who just bought into it. You know?
But you also, I tip my hat to you because you went through how many ACL surgeries in college football?
4 ACL, MCL,
4
meniscus.
ACL surgeries.
Yeah.
And you kept going.
Yeah, 4 hernias.
4 hernias too.
Yeah. Chronic exertional compartment syndrome.
What?
Thoracic outlet syndrome.
What? See what I mean, folks, with the whole language there. What do you think got you through that, man? Because that's tough. Because it's like, okay, I did it once. I'm gonna rehab. I'm gonna get better. Happens again. Oh shit, you know.
Well,
right.
it comes back. It's kind of related to what you just asked about. It's like I think that you buy in. You know, if done correctly, you learn how to buy in to things that are personal in nature, and you learn how to buy into things that are team in nature. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, when you're trying to come back from an injury, a lot of it is personal motivation, but you have to buy in to the image that the physical therapist and the orthopedic surgeon have for you. And it was easy for me to do because my orthopedic surgeon actually was recommended to me by Pete Leno, and he was a guy who did knee surgeries for the Olympic ski teams in the 90s, I believe. So, you know, I had it recommended from him, so it was really easy to buy in to what he was saying. And then I really like my, you know, people I worked with for physical therapy. So it's easy to buy into that vision, but you also have to buy into a vision of yourself and what you can accomplish. Yeah. You know, and if you do all that, like every single time after one of my surgeries, my surgery leg would end up getting stronger than the other leg because they have ways to measure that pretty easily. And if you buy in, it's really easily doable. You know, I mean, it's not easily doable for guys like you and I who don't have access to the same type of stuff that Tom Brady does or other professional athletes. But if you buy in, you can do it no matter what.
Right. Well, that's what was interesting with this whole thing, and that's why I really wanted to have you in because, I mean, swim lessons is about overcoming tough obstacles in life and also just kind of finding a fun way to keep moving forward. And obviously, for knee surgeries, you had to figure out a way, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to be a part of a team culture. I want to continue to move forward. We're going to do it this way. I don't care how many times it takes. We're going to do it. And it gives you dude, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 9 months of rehab, really.
Were your parents ever like, TJ, come on, man? After the second one, they're like, all right, maybe, what'd they say?
No, it was entirely based on what I thought, you know.
Oh, okay.
It was like, if this is what you want to do, then we're bought in.
We're all in. Yeah.
Because it's easier to do that when you raise that way and when you're constantly around that environment. But yeah, it's 9 months of rehab each time. Because for me, it was a full ACL, full MCL, and meniscus tear from all, you know, I won't explain how anatomy works, but it was torn all the way from the inside to the outside, basically.
Right.
It wasn't just like a little shaved off part or whatever. So when you talk with people about knee injuries, somebody will say, you know, oh, I have torn meniscus. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, but what kind of torn meniscus? But are we talking about a little tiny shaving that came off that's just causing you a little bit of pain and doesn't affect how your limb functions?
Right.
Because that's important to know. Like, but your MCL tear is not on the same level as Tom Brady's ACL tear, mm-hmm. you know. But wow, that was awfully negative.
No, it's awesome. No, I love that. I love the science of it.
But no, so the only person that really was ever negative about, I don't think it's really negative, was my surgeon the last time. I actually went to get a second opinion the fourth time. Because
the old second opinion.
Yeah, I don't know how much you remember of it, but it was like during summer ball or during like summer practices, you know, that whole thing. And it was like 2 days before camp was going to start. And we were just like running routes and, you know, I was trying to catch a ball and like had to twist behind me. And it just went again. So I went to my regular guy, mm-hmm. and he basically told me like, dude, I can't do this anymore because with the way the surgery works, they have to keep putting whatever, how do I put it simply, whatever fake part, you know, the fake ACL, they have to keep putting it into bone connections, mm-hmm. and over time those bone connections become less and less receptive to getting a new ligament and actually, using the ligament and not just completely rejecting it. I know all that's very boring, but so I actually went to get a second opinion, and the guy was like, "Listen, man, if you keep going at this rate you're going, because I kept tearing my ACL like every other year." Mm-hmm. And he was like, at this rate, with your history and with what your knees look like right now, you're going to be in a freaking wheelchair or some assistive device by the time you're 35 or 40. So
oh my God,
you have to make the decision now whether or not you want to be able to show your kids how to run rather than explain it to them verbally.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was really the only negativity I faced in the whole process. But, the first 3 times I was pretty young too. And it's important to have somebody at the helm. I mean, the orthopedic surgeon and the physical therapist who's positive and upbeat about it and solution focused about it. And engaged in it, and not just completely removed from it. And so you can't understate the value of the psychology of the people who are helping you out. Mm-hmm. Because if they just treat it as a job and they don't give a damn about you, it's like, it's going to be much tougher to take that vision and go all in with it, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah. And then not to shift gears at all, but you kind of took this whole, and I think that's what kind of helped you out, not helped you out, but it made you look deeper into why the human body is the human body. Why does it work this way? Why does this leg look this way when I'm running? Why do my knees go in when I'm running? Because you really took off with that, and you used it as like fuel to keep going with your college studies. And now you're in a master's, right? PhD, which is huge. What's that? What's it like to be in a PhD? Take me through a day. Just a lot of reading, a lot of studying, because you're looking psychology.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
so you're gonna be a damn shrink, aren't you? Or what are you gonna be? I'll be on the chair. Yeah. So, I don't know why I feel this way.
No, I won't be able to help you in that way. There's 2 different kinds of psychology. There's like very applied psychology, where you become a shrink or a clinical psychologist, or if you want to go to medical school, you do the psychiatrist thing, or counseling psychologist. It's very applied. And then there's PhDs that aren't applied, and mine isn't applied. It's like research focused. And the specialization for it, if you will, is performance psychology, which is, really related to sports and related to all of that. Because for whatever reason, my whole goal for the last 8 years has been to understand athletes inside out. And a lot of that interest stems from my own failings as an athlete. I'm not the guy who's going to sit here for podcast purposes when other people might hear it and tell you about how, great things were. Because I had a lot of failings as an athlete, obviously physically with the surgeries and stuff. But even without the surgeries, I wasn't going to be an elite level athlete. And some of that was physical, but some of that was also mental, because there was certain things that I didn't handle well. I wasn't like the attitude. Well, I was an attitude problem. I wasn't a confrontation with coaches problem, but I was a personal kind of attitude problem. So understanding athletes in every single dynamic of what they do on their day-to-day and how they think and how they move on their day-to-day has been my goal. So that's why, the academic structure that I've gone through so far is so varied. Because in undergrad, it was exercise science and psychology. I couldn't pick between. I was like, I got to do both. And then for the master's, it was psychology, and now it's performance by psychology. So it's a little bit more specific to sports and performance. But I can't remember where I was going with all that.
No, you're good. We were just talking about why you picked the PhD.
That's the essential reason, and I'm doing the pursuing the certified strength and conditioning specialist through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. It's one of the, from what I hear, the more difficult ones you can do. And it's not because I want 4 more letters next to my name. It's because I want to understand athletes in every single possible way I can. Because it had such a huge effect on me, and I think it has that kind of effect on just about everybody that gets involved in it, whether they realize it or not, whether it's conscious or sub or unconscious.
Right.
Can I interject something, Dal?
100%.
Question for you, TJ. You just jumping back, you said that not everybody, when they listen to you, sometimes it's just a job. They don't actually personally invest, and then you can't get the help that you properly need or some of these athletes properly seek.
Right.
But when you say that, I think of that in terms of life, and I want to switch it to Dalyss. In podcasting, I know a lot of podcast producers. I'm not blowing smoke up my own butt or anything, but I know a lot of people that'll just take the check and that's it, and there's no real like text exchange about the show or things like that. I know Dalyss and I have a really good relationship.
Yes,
minus
we do,
the
Nick,
Chardonnay bitching out, which we weren't drinking Chardonnay, but whatever. Anyways,
Details aren't
that's for them to decide.
all this to say, for both of you, do you think that's just true in all aspects of life? Because I think, it's like that for psychology, but like as a podcast host, he has to have a team that's invested in him, or else, it's easy to fade. And I don't know if I'm going off the rails with this.
No, you're nailing it.
No, and I think when you use the word team, I think it's completely applicable.
Spot on, Nick.
Even though it's for the most part just you two. I don't like the word team as much as I like the word tribe, just because of a book I've read that you should read, by the way.
What is it called?
It's called Tribe
Tribe?
by Sebastian. I think you say it Younger or Younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you've read it?
I haven't read it, but it's on my bookshelf. No joke.
Yeah. It's a
Sebastian
good
Younger?
one. Yeah, it's a good one. But anyways, you're right. It's not just for physical therapists and whatever. It's for coaches. It's for the business world. It applies to everything. If you're not invested and you don't think of the people around you as a tribe, things aren't going to get done, or they're not going to get done with either number one, the proficiency or the passion that they need to get done with,
The last thing I'll say before I switch it back to Dalyss, he's actually reading a book right now, The Art of War. We are reading it because I just picked it up and I'm like 40 pages in.
Wait, so The War of Art, so not Sun Tzu, not The Art of War?
Yep,
okay.
Opposite.
Okay,
So
got
it's-
it.
Rogan suggested it.
A
So
lot of
I'm like, yes, I'll read
A lot
it.
of people suggest it. Anyways, I just read a part of it today, literally today, this morning, where he talks about how humans, we're living in this world where we try to wire ourselves as individuals and try to like be on our own and do all these things individualistically. But he's saying that the reason people don't essentially achieve like the peace that they're out to do, the reason that people just spend money and don't really get what they really want, is because we are, as humans, are wired to be a tribe for the past hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And this new way of being like very on your own and solo is not what our bodies are really used to. And I think that's just a really interesting way of putting it. Like you said, we're wired to be a tribe, and that's how our DNA does things. So if he was doing this alone, he'd probably fade out way faster.
Right.
But because we're a team, he has that tribe. I have him, he has me. It's that combined effort. So I don't know. That's the last thing I'll say.
Nick and TJ, it's like when the toilet paper went out, everybody's like, oh my God, I gotta go. I gotta protect my kid. I gotta go. I'll protect my tribe. That's how it was. It was a tribal feeling.
Yeah.
Oh shit, food's leaving. Wherever when COVID hit, especially down here in Phoenix, like everybody's running their store. Everything's off the shelves. I'm moving this way, moving that way.
Well, I'd
Don't
argue
care.
though that's a short-sighted tribe kind of vision. They didn't really have the larger tribe
That's
in
true.
mind. You know what I mean?
What
Because-
about like the Democratic Republican tribes? What about that kind of tribe? You're wrong, I'm right.
I don't subscribe to any of that. I don't know what I would call myself politically. I mean, I guess I would.
You're a liberal.
Absolutely not. But I'm sure as hell not a conservative either, because I don't subscribe to those labels. I think that in government and in general discourse, not necessarily academic or with politicians or government, but just in discourse between guys like you and I think it's become, and you probably hear this from everybody in the podcast world, but I think everything's become so polarized, so polar to one end or the other, where it becomes unpopular to, if you're a liberal, to look at something a conservative person said and be like, or a conservative politician said and be like, well, that really makes sense, and try to come up with counterpoints, or vice versa. If you're a conservative, actually listening to the liberal side, it's more about, okay, how can we make our camp win? And these, I don't think that you could consider being a Democrat or being a Republican a tribe in any way, shape, or form. Because
You calling me liar?
yes, no, but I don't subscribe to that type of stuff. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's where I'm at. I mean, I guess if you're going to talk about the left and the right, I guess the only thing I could say to that is I'm in the middle or off the grid.
Well, same here. I mean, I'm not on either side too. I just like to watch them fight. I think it's awesome.
Right.
It's like I said earlier, you're right, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Nope, it's this way or that way. It's just, there's no reasoning.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about social media. I mean, Twitter, I almost want to delete my Twitter just the way that, because now everybody has a voice, and I think everybody should have a voice, but it's just like some of these people are like, I hate my day job. I'm going to go on Twitter and try to destroy someone's career.
Right.
Nope. That's not right. And I mean, I wanted to touch this subject, but one of the things that this is a little off topic, but one of the things that I opened up your eyes to was stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. They were just trying to cancel Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz.
Right.
For just shit they said like 30 years ago, and it wasn't even that bad.
Well, and not only that, but then people get vilified for not speaking out. And for me, I don't spend almost any time on social media. I've had stints where I've tried it, and
that's the way to go, though.
I can't friggin' do it, man. But people get vilified for not speaking out before they even have the facts, and it's like, if I don't have the facts, why would I, when I'm in the process of formulating an opinion, why am I going to display that to the rest of the world when I know that socially, whatever I say might have some influence over
it's for the
else?
likes.
Yeah,
for the likes.
Exactly. It's not for the point of accuracy. It's not for the point of necessarily helping people in many cases. It's just for the likes, and it's for the attention. So that's a really unpopular opinion that a lot of millennials and Gen Zs aren't going to want to hear.
Well, don't get it twisted up. I'm just saying, like, the cancel culture and everything, some of these people are just, I don't know, it's weird.
Over the top. I mean,
it's very weird.
Yeah.
We're in a weird spot.
Yeah. I just have a problem with people seeing something on social media and immediately I don't have a problem with it. It's like, do whatever you want. But personally, I find it repulsive when people will see something on social media and immediately go and repost it. And it's like, okay, number one, in this post, there was no citation of any information, and that's fine. Like, if you have an opinion, then, say the opinion, but try to say it in a way that's open to conversation. Because if you're not open to conversation, then what are you open to?
Right.
You're open to being a dictator over the situation.
Right.
And there are certain things that you should try to take control over, but most things in our conversations as people need to be open, And but when people just see something and then immediately go and repost it, it's like you didn't even vet that. You didn't even do any research on it. You don't know the first thing about it.
Nope, it's a like and it's a retweet. Gotta get it going.
It's
kind of
cool
like, thing to do.
I think I heard it on Jordan Peterson's podcast, I think, where he said, well, maybe it was in his book, something to the effect of, if you don't have your own house in order, and I disagree with this on certain points, but on certain points it makes sense. If you don't have your own house in order, if you don't have yourself in order, then don't go trying to influence other people.
Yeah, don't throw stones when you live in a glass house.
Yeah. Okay, 50 Cent.
Hey, baby.
I know that song.
One of my favorite stories to tell, too, is when, because I was in the midst of kind of my trying to do stand-up, trying to figure my shit out when we were living together, and I was like, dude, TJ, I really need you to come to this open mic tonight. I need some support. Would you be there for me? And you're like, yeah, of course. When are we going? Yeah. I'm like, well, it's in downtown Phoenix. We got to go, we got to be ready by 6:30. I'll order a Lyft and we'll go. So we go downtown Phoenix. Nick, you'll like this. We go to downtown Phoenix and I'm like, open mic got canceled. And T's like, what? I'm like, but I have 2 Eric Church tickets and we're going to go see Eric Church. That was like my way of thanking you for everything you've done for me in my life, dude.
That was epic. I don't often get surprised like that. Maybe 3 or 4 times in my life I've been that surprised, but that was epic, and it was like one of my first experiences with like a big concert like that.
He killed it.
He absolutely killed it.
Eric Church is one of the best. Yeah, I love Eric.
He absolutely killed it, and we killed it at the concession stand.
We killed the beer stand.
No, that was one of my fondest memories of Phoenix.
It was so awesome because he had no opener. He just came out. Remember they opened with Hallelujah?
Yeah, and it took forever. I downloaded it, man.
Oh, yeah, me too, dude. That's like one of my favorite songs now. And he just came out, had no opener. He just starts strumming. Then he's like, I'll be back. I'm going to take a shot.
Yeah.
Goes back. And we were at Talking Stick Arena, which is a huge place.
Yeah.
And he comes back out. He's like, y'all ready for round 2? And it was like, God damn. Me and you were like, yeah.
Yeah, and the fanfare and everything to see it live is even better.
Well, people were taking off their boots and throwing it to him. I've never seen it and people like grabbing boots like, hey, and he's just signing away. And I was like, this is a genuine guy.
Yeah.
There's a funny story about Eric Church because he was going to play at the Hettinger Fair in North Dakota when he was coming up.
Oh.
And one of the things was for him, in order to come, they'd have to pay him so much money. I don't remember how much money it was, but they had to also supply 5 bottles of Jack Daniels and 6 cases of Coors Light.
Yeah.
And that was also written. They had to be waiting for them at the stage.
Well, the real efficacious performers in the world, they don't request money, they request alcohol.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's true.
No, and for to
you with Tess.
But to show, I mean, it really shows you how fond I am of that memory of you surprising the hell out of me. That a complete unabashed atheist would download the song Hallelujah. On like the day after we were there. It just reminds me of that,
that's why I love stand up and I love concerts so much, because there's just such an energy when you walk into like an arena and you walk into a club and there's just like people are ready to have fun. We're here to have fun. Let's have fun. Right. It's fun time. All right, let's for 2 hours we're just gonna ignore all the debt, all the rent, everything that's we got going on in our lives. We came to this spot to have a good time.
Oh yeah. Well, and I mean, it's like when we went to comedy too. And the thing about you is that you thrive on that. It's not so much the attention. It's the fact that, because we talked about this numerous times after a couple Bud Lights. Mm-hmm. But for you really feed off the fact that you can have that influence on someone, mentally, where it's like, they got all kinds of stuff going on in their lives, and they show up to an open mic, or they show up to whatever the heck you got going on. They listen to the podcast on iTunes, and it just completely takes their mind off of it for a couple of hours, because you've gone through stuff where everybody's gone through stuff where they need to get their mind off things for a while and realize that everything isn't going terribly, that
right.
Everything's going to be all
right.
We're
okay here.
And you show up to an open mic, or you listen to Dalyss ramble on with some idiot on his podcast, and, you laugh a little bit, and it just takes your mind off of it. So, I completely get why you feed off of it. And I think this is the right thing for you to be doing.
Yeah, I really enjoy doing this. It's really fun. And also, dude, today I got an email. Because, it's tough, dude. You're doing all these episodes, and you're getting, like, I don't know, Nick, I think we average 300 something download an episode or whatever.
More than that, I think.
Okay. Anyways, we average this, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but, like, where are we going? And today, I was kind of not feeling down, but I'm like, God damn it. Like, I was happy that you were coming and everything. I'm like, man, I just would love some traction. And I was kind of feeling shitty, and all of a sudden, I just get this email, and the email's like, hey, your podcast ranked 119th out of all the comedy ones. I'm like, wow. Okay, boom, that's what I needed.
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting about this whole adventure, is like you're just waiting. It's like that coal miner that's like picking at or not coal, but a diamond. I saw that graphic. There's 2 guys searching for a diamond, and one guy's in a tunnel, and the diamond's right there, and he's like, nope, I'm quitting, I'm out. The guy below him is still hitting, and he hits the diamond the next day.
Yeah.
After the guy quit.
Yeah, and that's really how it goes. It's this weird like social influence thing, and how things spread via social media is absolutely fascinating.
Well, it's wild.
It's wild, and that's why psychology is so unbelievably interested in it, in the advertising world, because it's like, in the current day, we've had a guy essentially win an election to be the most powerful human in the world on social media, despite the obstacles that person faced.
Yeah.
But no, and it's not necessarily about the ranking of 119. You probably don't actually give a crap what iTunes thinks of what right. you say on the radio. or on the podcast. But the fact is that if it's ranked at that spot, that more people are listening to it, and you're able to influence more people in a positive way.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun just to see what it's like.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just fun. And like we do these like little like promotion things on Instagram, and it's fun to see like people from Sweden engage in your post, and they're like, no, seriously, like Nick and I were putting together this like so on Instagram, I run a swim lessons podcast Instagram, and we were putting together like a promotion page, and I'm like, where should we put this? Like Arizona, North Dakota, Minnesota. He's like, no. We'll do those, but we're also going to go across the pond
Norway,
here.
Switzerland.
Norway, Switzerland.
Might as well.
And I was looking at it, and I was like, holy shit, like all these people from these countries are watching me.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Well, and this will probably be your most poorly rated one.
No way. This will be the best.
No.
This will be the best.
So sorry for the ratings hit. Everybody hang in there till next week.
No, you're the best.
I know something we could do to make it more fun for 30 seconds.
What's up?
Since we were just talking about ridiculous requests, like how was it Eric Church? You said
Eric Church, yeah.
He had the Jack Daniel request.
Yep.
So I learned in rock history way long ago. I had to take this bullshit rock history class, and there's a whole like rock legend about like these. It's so sad I don't remember what they're called, but they're the demands of the musicians coming to town, and they have a list that they give to the venue, and the venue has to meet those demands. Well, I have up on the screen here Van Halen classically had
brown M&Ms.
He had the people at the venue separate. He asked for only brown M&Ms. So he had only the colored ones. So he had the staff actually separate all of them. And if he walked backstage and there was the brown M&Ms, he would know that the rest of this, they didn't read through the contract, and then the rest of the stuff was probably in risk of being jeopardized, because he had a really complicated setup and he had to make sure that all the venues listened. So I want to have some fun with this. If you guys had to like say you're you're a comedian, but say we're like music stars, TJ, what would your guys' like request be that every time you played a show you need this backstage when you show up?
You go first, Nick.
Oh, me? If I was Matty Ice, no, I'm just Bang Energy.
Well, Nick's sponsored by Bang Energy.
Wow.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not.
why he's so high strung
Yeah,
today.
I was gonna say.
He walked in, he was
Alright.
shotgunning one, like, hey, you ready to do this podcast?
I would be sponsored by the Cannabis Company of America. I don't know. I don't want to go first. I'm the producer. You go first.
TJ.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go. I don't have a
Okay.
problem going
Okay.
first. I'll go first.
All right. See what you got.
I would have 5 girls that had to. No, just kidding. No, I would want. You have to have a bottle of Captain Morgan.
12 of White Claw, obviously.
No, mango. No, I would just want to like be able to have like a room where I could play my music, because you know me, I love music in my JBL Charge. Shout out JBL Charge, and just like somewhere I could blare my music, get ready to go. I would be pretty simple.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know, brown M&Ms. That's a little much. I like it though. It's good.
Yeah.
Good creativity. But yeah, I would probably have a place you can blare music and drink beer.
Okay.
Well, brown M&Ms is
It's hard to top.
definitely interesting.
TJ would want like a book on hips and like how they work and why does the knee go this way.
Well, if I was, let's say I was instead of a musician, a head coach of a whatever program.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, how about that, buddy?
In that case, I would want. Oh gosh, you know what? No matter what I would just want a blank room where excess money wasn't spent on some BS that could have gone to the program or to the kids in some way.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like that.
It's
about
so
the kids.
Boring. I'm so boring.
No, that's all right, buddy.
But
I'm not boring.
Yeah, that's all I'd want right there. Let's just
Nick,
go
your
out and get
turn.
it done.
Honestly, I just think I need a 12 of Claws and I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
well,
to go.
What kind?
Like the variety pack, or like
I
the
like
newer,
vari-
the
I like
old?
the variety pack. I'm a hot white boy summer right now.
Well, I got a wife, so I know too, man. I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
he's got.
Thanks for the dig.
Sorry, Nick. I love you, buddy.
Nick's the best.
I've only known you for 45 minutes, but I already love you.
Yeah. You haven't seen me without a mask.
One thing that a lot of people have asked, because I'm pretty crazy about the Chiefs. What was it like living with me when the Chiefs game was on?
You're neurotic. I mean, do I need to say any more? You got issues, man. You got to work on it. You know how we were talking about clinical psychology and research? You don't need to talk to a research. You need to talk to a clinical psychologist. You got problems, man.
What was it like though? Because I'm only when I see black, I just see like the Chiefs game, or I see whatever I see.
You see red.
I see red. I just want the Chiefs to win so badly. I don't care who's in the rim. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward at times, especially after a
loss.
after a couple Bud Lights, and especially after a loss. But no, it was fun.
We had a lot of fun,
especially because I was historically a Broncos, mostly during the Tim Tebow era.
Oh God, I remember.
Ironically enough, but I was kind of still in Bronco mode, and I thought I was a decent fan, but you took it to a whole new level, man. It was
They're
scary.
coming here. The Chiefs are coming for preseason game week 3. We're going. You come with.
Yep.
Dude, speaking of having fun, I want to make a phone call. Nick, can we do the phone call? I want to make a phone call to this guy who, TJ, you'll like this guy, and I wanted to call him when you were on because psychology wise, you'll see this guy needs a little work, but his name is Canadian Craig. And I called him before
that's his legal first name.
Well,
right?
his name is
Isn't
Craig.
it? No,
but he wanted to be called Crazy Craig or Canadian Craig, and I was like, well, how about Canadian Craig?
Okay.
So I'm gonna call him. I don't know if he'll answer, but we'll see. I hope he does.
Okay.
And just you sit back and enjoy the show.
Well, if he doesn't
request.
answer, you can sing some Trace Adkins or something.
This is per request. All right, let's see what old Craig's up to. Okay, it's ringing.
Hello?
Hey, Craig, it's Dalyss here. You're live on Swim Lessons, Craig. Thank you for picking up. How you doing, buddy? We miss you.
Oh,
Hey, I don't know you, but I miss you already, buddy.
Craig, what's going on? How's your day?
fucking, I'm just fucking fighting with the bar again.
Why?
Fucking animals.
What did they do to you? What did you do? This is not just them coming after you.
Well, no, I'm not gonna put up with cockroaches.
Dude, what are you watching, Law and Order? I can hear the TV in the background there.
I'm not gonna wanna put up with cockroaches, and I'm very, very vocal. I don't know what country this is what I said. I don't know what country you're from, but in Canada, we don't have cockroaches. We don't have fucking filthy goddamn. And it just went on from there.
What? Dude, what is it? Are the rumors true, Craig, that you cut your hair? Are the rumors true?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Well, because it was so long and it was so tangled, and I had to change my appearance.
Was it
why?
Was it hard to manage, buddy?
I might have a reason to do it.
Okay, so what's tomorrow going to be like for Craig, dude? Catch us up on speed, because everybody, when I had you on the show the first time, the number one thing that people wanted to hear about, they wanted to hear from you. So what's the day been like day to day with you? I can in my mind I have an idea what it's like, but just tell us what it's like.
I don't think he knows what day to
Hello?
day means.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta turn down the TV. I'm half deaf fucking from the loud fucking truck.
What's
But
Larry?
No, I don't give a fuck.
Whoa. What's our boy Larry been up to? Last time you had...
I honestly don't give a fuck, man. I'm a fucking... I've got $3,000 in my wallet right now. I fucking...
Come on, buddy.
Hey, Craig, I really want to talk to you about... tell us some more stories from your rock concert days when you would go to rock shows. He's got actually some pretty cool
here we
stories.
go.
Oh my... That was funny. I used to know the way up to the top of the fucking light show.
Yeah, we heard that one. What's some other ones? You got any other ones?
Well, What do you want, man? I don't know. Like, fuck.
How's the rock collection coming?
I could have pissed on Axl Rose's head, but I was too nice, and I was worshiping him, and then I got chased out of there because when I got caught, I did it for years, but no, they were.
Oh, I bet. What is the lady situation like in your life, brother?
Did you just turn him on speaker or something?
No, I had a call come in.
Oh.
Can you hear me, Craig?
Yeah. Who is
This is Dalyss. Swim lessons.
Dallas. Yeah. Who the fuck's that other guy?
Oh, that's my guest right now, TJ.
Hey, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
all
Hey,
Should I put up with them or?
Absolutely
Tell them
not.
to fuck off?
Absolutely not.
Hey, can you do some animal noises for us real fast?
Okay. Oh yeah. I got in trouble for that.
Just do us a few. Come on, just a few animal noises.
Oh fuck! I blew my fucking asshole out.
What was that one, Craig? What was that first one?
Well, that's my elephant, but I can do
Oh,
better. But I'm fucking loaded.
You're
And
loaded.
here's my mom. Here's my fucking my fucking well, my girl. Don't make fun of my girlfriend. Meh.
Do you have any other ones, buddy?
And I got another kitty's coming under my car.
Kitty's under the car.
Cool.
Well, you go take care of the cats, dude. I love you, Craig. Please take care of yourself, and we'll talk to you probably next week as good as this week. This went swimmingly well. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah. My problem is,
Just hang up on him.
I need an operation.
Okay. Well, we
That
finally
was Craig.
That was Craig. Canadian Craig. But no, man, to close, ever since hopefully Craig calls back, I always ask people every time we come to an end with swim lessons, and because you do such a good job and with your whole background and what you're going into, I really think this will be a good answer. But what do you want to leave the people here with swim lessons on, kind of something that they can take from this podcast and move forward with?
Well, I'll tell you, as a student, I have more questions than answers. I think that's what you get good at as a student. So I won't pretend to be the most knowledgeable guy in the world or have some nugget of wisdom that's going to change people's lives. But in the current environment we're in, it's just to formulate your own opinions, or if you already have an opinion, be open-minded about things. I think we have too much of that in our world today, where it's very closed-minded type of conversation. Mm-hmm. And as a contrarian on multiple different fronts, I've had to deal with that, or someone who kind of goes against the norm regularly. I've had to deal with that on a regular basis. So be open-minded when you speak to people, and try to take something. It's something that I try to do, or try to think about doing every single day, is no matter how useless you might think someone's opinion is, or how useless you might initially think that what they have to say is to try to take something away from it. Even if you have to formulate it somehow, try to take something away from it to help your personal growth. That's what I've been really kind of focusing on lately, and it's been really important to me in a lot of different ways. And I think it would be important for anybody, or useful for anybody to do.
No, that's good, man. I like that. That's really good. Now we do our 10 for 10 rapid round.
Oh,
Are you ready, buddy?
Here we go.
This is my favorite part of the
Here
show.
we go.
10 for 10. So I'm going to ask you 10 questions. You have to answer them as fast as possible. There's no right or wrong answer. Well, there is a few, but anyways.
If it involves the Chiefs, there's a wrong answer, right?
And away we go. Favorite NFL team?
Broncos.
Favorite NBA team?
Don't have one. Don't like the NBA. Oops.
Okay. Favorite musician?
Corn.
Steak or shrimp?
Neither. I'm a vegan.
Wow. Really doing well here. Lake or ocean?
Lake.
Dog or cat?
Cat.
Palm tree or evergreen tree?
I'm going to have to say evergreen.
What city in Texas has a team in the NFL nicknamed the Cowboys?
Dallas.
What city in Texas rhymes with palace?
Dallas.
Who is your favorite human being of all time?
Joe Rogan. No. Dallas Hansen. Dallas. Shoot.
Dude, what do you want your future to be like real quick?
Well, it's a confusing phase of life to be in because everything right now is like formulating. You know, most people by age 28, 29, 30, they kind of have things figured out. Usually they have a career path, that type of thing. But everything's being formulated right now. So
yeah,
it's not that I don't have any idea, but there's a few different lanes that I'd like to go into. I've never been the guy, because you and I grew up around the oil field where guys were getting out of high school or getting out of college and just going and taking that oil money.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
And I've never been that guy who's going to pursue something just for the money. Obviously that's a consideration. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to kind of make my own path, so to speak. I mean, it's a lot like you with doing this. A lot of people probably told you at some point, that's a dumb idea. You're not going to make any money doing that. Why are you going to do that? And it's like, well, yeah, guy, I might not make money now, but if it blows up and my producers, okay, it might blow up eventually. But I'd like to coach, and I think right now I'd like to coach and teach at the collegiate level, and at least start off with that at the NAI Division III, Division II level, wherever it ends up at, where I can do both. Mm-hmm. Because I can't really just eliminate one or the other and just say, no, I just want to teach or be a professor, or no, I just want to coach football. Both of those things are just so interesting to me and just light me on fire. That I want to be able to do both. But mostly I'm just going to keep showing up to the DC Classic every year and having way too much fun. That's really my life goal, is to make sure that I just can get to that every year. Whatever job I have, it's like, nope, I got to go to the DC Classic. I'm going to be gone for 4 days. In this interview, if we can't make that happen, I'm out. So,
dude, I heard also, I'm going to put you on the spot, you do a pretty good imperation of me. And I walked in and you're doing it. Just here, just try.
Your producer doesn't know crap about that. Hey, buddy, listen. I got this tournament going on, man. You gotta help me out with this thing.
So
it's
good, dude.
It's like, I've seen you ref, man. You're the greatest ref ever. And listen, when I had you on my podcast, it was the greatest podcast ever, buddy. And it was like, I gotta have you on here, man. It's God. I mean, you got me an A on my test. I just couldn't believe it, and man, you're the best ever. Will you help me, buddy?
It's the under the breath grunting. Like, hey, bro, can you help me?
God, I gotta work on my vocabulary.
Hold on, let me take a sip of my Bud Light real quick. You want a shot with that with those other 17 shots? Yeah. Okay,
I'll never forget the first few times I hung out with Dalyss. I'm coming over. He's like, "Hey man, I got some beer for you." I'm like, "All right, awesome, man." First time I'm ever gonna have a client bring me beer, and I walk in and he's like, "Yeah, here's Bud Light, man." And I'm like, "Oh wow, thanks for the water." And then the next time I come over and he's like, "Yeah, I got some beer." I was like, "Yeah, did you get Bud Light?" Or he's like, "Oh yeah, I got some Bud Light." So I was like, "I'm gonna grab some real beer on the way over."
Well, I think the biggest part of that equation is probably look down and you're like, by the way, this is 9:30 a.m.
Oh Jesus, no! Dude, my mom's gonna listen to this. No, it's only we'd like to have a few, nothing over the top, but dude, I'm really excited where your future is gonna go.
I'm excited where your future is gonna go.
Oh, what do you mean?
With this?
Yeah.
With because you talked about it for a long time.
Yeah.
And you dabbled, but you didn't dive in, kind of like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And now you dove in, man. And and it's awesome.
Yeah.
To see that come to fruition, and to see somebody have kind of like that psychological torture going on, where it's like, man, this is what I want to do, but I've just been doing my day job. I haven't figured it out. And to see you finally dive into it is the most satisfying part of all this. And to do this and to get into the I know it's difficult right now with the lack of contact in the world because of the whole COVID thing. Mm-hmm. But to see you finally dive into it is exciting for me, because I get excited seeing other people develop. So anyways.
Well, dude, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And that's a great note to end on. And dude, thank you very much for coming in, and I cannot wait. And let's go have a beer.
Let's go.
That's a wrap, baby. Woo!
I told you it's gonna be a party.